everybody. Thanks for joining me out in the garden with Outside with Jeff. We're still planting along this perimeter fence. This is the last 15 or so feet that we have available. So we're gonna go ahead and plant one more variety that I've bought from the store. We call it vegetable spaghetti squash, but that's what it's called. I also have some seed that I saved from last year from my kabocha. And we're gonna plant a couple spots of it. I'm not sure how viable this seed is, so I'm only gonna plant probably one hill of it. I'm just not really sure about that. But yeah, so this is just a standard spaghetti squash. It says it produces 3 to 5 pound fruits, and they should store 3 to 4 months. You want to plant them 3 feet apart, and that's about, it says 5 to 9 days to germinate, and the fruits or the vegetables will be ready in 85 days. So I just finished planting a variety of Long Island cheese pumpkin. So we're gonna go 3 foot down from the last plant, and we'll just continue on down the row, and when I get to the end, I'm gonna plant one spot of the seeds that I had saved. Now, I've already prepared the soil, so all we're gonna have to do is go about 3 foot over from our last planting. We're gonna put these about a ½ inch into the soil. As said before, none of this has to be scientific measurement. Approximations work great in the garden. After all, I've never seen a tree try to space its seedlings that it sends out every year, and Mother Nature does just fine at making sure that she doesn't run out of stuff growing in the wilderness. So it's good enough for her, it's good enough for me. 1, 2, 3. I'm really excited about growing all these winter squash this year. If you haven't done so far, go ahead and check out my other videos. Now right now we're the middle of May, but last year I didn't plant my winter squashes until the 1st and 2nd week of June, so you still have plenty of time. This year's weather's just been really odd, and I checked the forecast, and the next couple weeks look fantastic for where I live in Zone 6. So I'm gonna get a little bit of early planting on it. Once again, I like to go 2 seeds per hole. These seed packets always have an excellent germination rate, but I don't want to risk it in case a pest or something decides to get one of the seedlings when it comes up. I don't want to waste that 5 to 7 days that it takes to get the seeds to germinate. You know, because things happen in nature. Seedlings die even if they're germinated. So, you know, I would recommend planting at least two seeds per spot minimum. And then you'll simply come back after they've all sprouted, and you'll thin off the weaker of the seedlings. So it looks like we have room for 4 spaghetti squash plants, and I would say we'll probably get 5 squash per plant, so that'll give me 20 squashes, which is, you know, that's fantastic. Between all these varieties I'm planting, I ought to have about 100 squash. That's a bumper crop, to say the least. Now this last one is going to be the seed that I saved. And since I didn't germinate, test these or anything like that, I only had like 12 seeds. I'm going to plant them mixed. So in this one spot, I'm going to put 6 seeds. And I'm going to put them all about an inch apart from each other. And the reason I'm doing that is I don't want them to all grow up super tight to each other. And then when I go to thin them, I don't want to, you know, damage the other seedlings around it. And I have no idea how many of these seeds are going to come up, or if any of them are going to come up. I've never saved winter squash seeds. I'm not 100% sure on when you're saving winter squash seeds, if, you know, how long you let that fruit sit on the vine. You know, I don't know if I picked it prematurely for saving the seed factor or not. So it's just a little experimentation. I know what I did last year as far as saving the seeds. I basically picked them just as if I was storing them for a food crop. And then, you know, a couple months later when we went to eat them, I just saved the seeds for my best fruit. So we'll see. The seeds look good. There's a couple of them cracked, but the majority of them look good that I saved. But yeah, I just planted 6 of them. We'll see how they come up, and I'll let you know. And if those seeds come up, I'm definitely gonna be saving from those plants as well, because that kabocha I grew last year, I picked them in September, and I still have 5 or 6 of those in the basement, and they stored great, and they just tasted fantastic. So if I'm able to get that same fruit quality from the seeds I saved, I'm definitely going to be saving a lot more of those seeds in the future. Well, thanks for joining me today in the garden for this spaghetti squash planting video. I hope you decide to plant some winter squash in your gardens. And remember, gardening is experimentation. Try something new every year. If there's a first time for everything, don't be afraid to try to grow something new. There was once a time where planting a tomato was new to me. So, you know, everybody has to do something for the first time. And don't be afraid to kind of try new varieties and try to grow new things. Even if you've never tried them before in the grocery store, if you've never ate them before, just give it a whirl, you know. These produce beautiful plants and beautiful blossoms, and they attract a lot of pollinators. They'll attract a lot of honeybees because they produce a bumper crop of flowers and blooms, both male and female blooms. So they're really good for the garden. And yeah, thanks for joining me out in the garden. If you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and from my garden to yours, have a great day.